on Sunrise as we continue this morning. The governing party in Zimbabwe, Zanu-PF, summoned all its legislators to a party caucus in a bid to trigger a process to impeach President Mugabe. Now, President Mugabe was yesterday given until midday to tender his resignation. However, it was not to be. Joining us to reflect on yesterday's outcome is Unisa senior lecturer Dr. Everisto Bneyera, and via Skype, or rather on hybrid on the line, we're going to be talking to Doug Holdhart, who is a human rights lawyer out in Zimbabwe. You at home can be part of our conversation by giving us a call on 011 447 1742 or 011 447 1620. We're also running a Twitter poll, and we're also taking your comments on Facebook this morning. Now, Dr. Everisto, thanks very much for chatting to us. When you came in to speak to us last week sometime, we couldn't really determine if it is a coup or not, or what is going on in Zimbabwe. Technically, and what it looks like, it is a coup. But legally, the question is it a coup or not? And we're seeing that the situation is now moving to where constitution of the Zanu-PF party and the constitution of Zimbabwe is being compared to see how can it be used correctly to finally get President Robert Mugabe, of course, to leave the position of being a president of Zimbabwe. Your thoughts so far on what has transpired?
Thank you, Penny, and good morning to all the viewers at home. We are really, as Zimbabwe, entering into uncharted waters. Last week when I was here, I was very clear that what we were witnessing was the beginning of a transition period. A transition period which I considered was a transition from the current period that is dominated by Robert Mugabe to any other dispensation that we are yet to determine what it is. In my view, the script was supposed to have been well crafted so that those that were against the continued rule of Robert Mugabe were supposed to deliver their mandate within the shortest possible time. Why do I say so? If you prolong such a game, you are playing into Robert Mugabe's hands. We all agree that Robert Mugabe is a very crafty statesman. He is a very seasoned politician. He was a politician during the time of Fidel Castro. He was with Julius Nyerere. He was with Kenneth Kaunda, the most seasoned global politicians. The more time that you give him, the more room that he will have to maneuver. And in my view, as we are informally counting the scores, is Robert Mugabe 2, Zanu-PF 0.
Well, it also looks like the grip that the army had, a few days ago, it's kind of like loosened, especially looking at what transpired Sunday night, where there was an expectation for him to resign. And then there's a video going around of speeches or pieces of papers being thrown around. The question is that the speech that he was meant to read? Was there another speech? And what are the factors around all of that that actually influenced the final statement that he gave to the rest of the world?
Your guess is as good as mine. The military and the people around the developments in Zimbabwe are not giving out exactly what happened and what was supposed to happen. Now, when we are left to speculate, we will do what we are good at. We will then speculate. We saw the commander of the Zimbabwean Defense Force, General Constantino Chiwenga, appearing to be taking a speech or a bunch of papers and passing them to the person who was sitting next to him, Commissioner Augustine Chihuri. And
yeah, we are running the visuals as we speak, as you can see.
And Commissioner Chihuri was trying to organize or to conceal the papers between his legs. And that then gave a lot of speculation when it is combined with what the president said later in Shona, when he said something to the effect that, is this the page, am I missing
another page?
Another page. Yeah. That does not sound well organized. And for a military that is in charge to have something like that going on, it only points to one thing, that this was not the original script. And the question is, what was originally supposed to be said?
All right, we're also taking your calls for you to be part of the conversation this morning, especially if you're a Zimbabwean national living in South Africa. Your thoughts on what has transpired so far, 011-447-1742 or 011-447-1620. We're also going to try and get on the line, of course, to Doug Coltart, who is out in Zimbabwe, to sort of like give us a sense of what's going on in the ground. Okay, we'll catch up with him after 7 o'clock. Now, the other worrying question, we saw masses and masses of Zimbabweans taking to the streets, peacefully so, which we must really acknowledge. But now the biggest worry is when university students get involved. They've threatened not to write exams. Half of them were born, under his rulership. They might not have the same patience that the rest of the masses who were praying on Sunday might have. They might be saying, you guys have been praying for as long as you have. You're known to be peaceful people, and quite frankly, we're not making any progress.
Thank you very much for complimenting my countrymen for being peaceful. But there are two things, if you want to be honest. Zimbabweans are generally peaceful, but we are also afraid. So the fact that we did not throw any stone during that mass demonstration in Harare, yes, it's mainly due to
paralysis of fear.
Paralysis of fear.
True.
It also played into that. But now you bring in a different factor, the youths. These are people that are highly impatient. Already they have started not writing examinations at the University of Zimbabwe. And that does not play into the hands of the military, because the military wants everything in the country to move as smoothly as possible, so that they are not blamed for anything that may not happen, like university students missing their exams. So this is now moving into a dangerous territory where people's patience is being tested. And Robert Mugabe wants us to go there, where we become impatient, where we become violent. And then he says, look, who is breaking the law? Who is being a threat to the national interest? It is the army who brought this on us. And
Dr. Everisto, I want to take some callers. So let's take Martha. Hello, Martha. Martha. Okay, we seem to have a problem with Martha's line. Let's try Prosper on the line. Hi, Prosper. Prosper. Okay, we're also struggling with that, but we'll get back to those callers. So you touched on Prosper. Are you there? Martha. Okay, who do we have on the line? Okay, so I'm going to let those callers go, and then we'll try and sort that out. So you touched on a question of, obviously, there is a peaceful aspect of Zimbabweans as a nation, and at the same time, the paralysis around the fear, obviously, of if things can go wrong. Now, the biggest question as well is that there's the tiptoeing around it is a coup, it's not, the technicality and the legality of it. What is going on in that space? Why is their biggest fear to automatically say it is a coup? And what consequences does that infer for Zimbabwe going forward if it is declared a coup of what's currently going on there?
Let's first answer this question. Is it a coup or is it not a coup? This is not a coup. Because a military coup is that which is executed in order to remove a sitting head of the country and replacing that person with somebody other than the incumbent. So what happened in Zimbabwe, because Robert Mugabe is still the president and the military is not in power, so it is not a coup. Why the fear of having a coup or having the current developments labeled a military coup? Because there are a lot of negative externalities that come with an official coup. This is why even in Egypt, the United States of America were adamant that what happened in Egypt under Mohamed Sisi was not a coup, but it was a political transition. And Zimbabwe's case is even worse. On the social media, there are issues doing that are doing rounds that this is a military coup that went to a private school, that it's very calm, it's a calculated. But for all intents and purposes, this is not a military coup. And the military establishment is afraid of having it appear as a military coup because it will then bring the region into uncharted waters. In this region of ours, we are only used to having military coups in Lesotho, and we don't want to have them in Zimbabwe. This is why everybody from SADC to South Africa, to the African National Congress, are trying by all means.
So we'll talk about the role of those after we take the call. Let's take Blessing on the line. Hello, Blessing. Blessing. Okay, that's another problem, of course, with the line. We apologize for that. Let me take a Facebook comment. Tonderai Tauzeni saying Mugabe is playing a game of chess. He will survive the impeachment dirty tricks, and that guy is heartless. The army has been used. Okay, so the big question that we asked is impeachment proceedings against President Robert Mugabe expected to get underway today. Do you think he will survive a motion of impeachment today? And then we ask you for your thoughts. Manamulela saying that with the ruling party joining forces with the opposition, his chances of survival are minimal and next to nothing. Today's planned proceedings are long overdue, and democracy will definitely be the winner and the people will conquer. Seya Siabonga saying RG Mugabe is now old. I think he doesn't care about what's happening or what's going to happen to him, because he sees that to him there is no way forward. That 93 years is too much. And Mando saying they just gave him time to quit properly. The old man didn't understand, and today he will see that they will throw him on the streets. So those are some of the comments that are coming through. Is that likely to happen? Obviously, there's great respect from what has transpired. It looks like the army has great respect for him for the fact that they gave him a chance to even address the nation the way that it has. I mean, doesn't look like anything that is untoward is likely to happen within the impeachment.
We must commend the command element of the Zimbabwe National Army for so far what they have done. Many people were impressed when they appeared on national television saluting the president, which is a sign that Robert Mugabe is still in power and that they are still taking orders from him. However, what is problematic to me are the two constitutions, the Zanu-PF constitution and the Zimbabwe constitution. Let's begin with the element where the Zimbabwe National Army undertook an act which, to me, is an act of self-deployment. The constitution is very clear. Only the president of the republic has the power to deploy the Zimbabwe National Army in Zimbabwe. And what happened is that the Zimbabwe National Army self-deployed, and that is problematic, if not treasonous. So that puts the command element of the Zimbabwe National Army only on a path to victory, because if they lose what they started, then they are going to face serious consequences. They are going to be charged for treason. And now it's almost like every part must win. Mugabe is determined to win. The command element of the Zimbabwe National Army, backed by the thousands of Zimbabweans, are also determined to win. And then here comes the problem. Who is going to lose and with what consequences? All
right, well, it's a wait and see again, of course, when they go into Parliament this morning, later on today.